and one of the co-founders. Harrison, how are we today? I have been looking forward to this, my friend.
Great, thank you. It's a lovely day in the countryside. Super excited to chat to you.
Amazing. Well, I'm in the suburbs. You've got the better view.
You're retired though, man. I'm dressed casual. I'm in wellness attire, I guess. Athleisure.
I guess so.
Fully suited.
I guess so. Look, don't get me wrong. We've got some organic materials in the suit, I think. If not, we're going to have to get some long lane versions and get some merch. My friend,
exactly.
Give us an intro, who you are, a little bit of your background and what you're building.
Cool. So I'm Harrison. I'm building a first of its kind wellness hotel and members club. I'll give a little bit of background on how I got here. So I was working on Wall Street in New York. I was there for 6 years, and it was everything that you could imagine. You know, it was a great time. For the first 3 years of it, I absolutely loved it. You know, going
the
to the
parties, the alcohol, the restaurants, the vibe. New York, it's like center of the world.
Exactly, all of it. Whatever, and being English in New York as well, that just adds to it.
Really?
Right? Yeah, it adds to it.
Nice little alpha.
In all areas, yeah, exactly. But you know, after 3 years, I think I kind of grew up. I guess I really didn't align with the lifestyle that I was living, and what I was struggling with is that I was constantly having to sacrifice my mental and physical well-being to satisfy my social well-being. And it didn't sit right with me. I really was searching for a place where all of my aspects of well-being could flourish, and I couldn't find it. So me and my business...
You'd be surprised with somewhere like New York, right? And Manhattan as a whole. Maybe you'd find those like sanctuaries, but that isn't the case.
Well, I mean, there's wellness places, but typically those places are quite isolated, right? They take care of your mental and physical, but not your social. It's like, you know, when you go to a spa, typically you go on your own or you go with a partner, you don't connect with anyone else. And on the flip side of that, you know, when you're in a hospitality setting where you're meant to connect with others, it's all detrimental to your health, right? They're centered around alcohol, bad food, whatever it may be. It's almost like a guilty pleasure. There wasn't a place where the two sides kind of merged. So that was what me and my business partner set out to, the problem we set out to solve. And here we are 3 years later, finally found a site that suits 50 minutes from London, under an hour from London, 55 acres, 35 acres of forest. And it is an amazing space. Think Soho Farmhouse, but if well-being was at the genesis of the idea. So everything from an organic farm on site, paddle and tennis courts, contrast therapies, gym, yoga studio, nature woodland trails, woodland saunas, 3 F&B concepts, all organic. Everything that serves is organic. It's a place where you can come and you can trust that, you know, we've got your best intentions at the forefront of the decisions we make. But yeah, that's where we are. Construction started, which is exciting. It was tough getting here, but we made it, and I'm super excited for the next 11 months while we build the space.
I have so many questions. I mean, like from fundraising all the way to back to wellness as a whole. Like, give me the definition of wellness, right? I think we get it misinterpreted today. It doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people and sort of tries to fit multiple boxes. To you, what is wellness?
If you asked me that 3 years ago, I would have told you looking in shape, right? You know, and being able to run fast.
I hit the gym and I could do a 5K under 25.
Exactly. But now what I've learned is it's so much more than that. And for me, it's about connection to nature, connection to others, and connection to self. All three of those things, I feel, make up your well-being. But, you know, usually, at least I used to look at it as external rather than internal. But for me now, well-being is internal.
Interesting. And we had a conversation, you know, last week around like how you're building Long Lane. Like, where did the name start? Like, why Long Lane?
So it's an interesting story, actually. We had a property when I quit Wall Street. We had a property in Norfolk that we were going to use. In the end, that property didn't work out. Norfolk's too far away. It just wasn't right. But the property was called Long Lane Farm. And we'd began documenting this journey, and we put out to the audience, which brand name do you like most? One of them was Long Lane. There was a couple of others. The audience unanimously chose Long Lane, so that was what we moved with. Now, obviously, that came with issues because we never ended up using that site, and we've now picked this brand name. So we were umming and ahhing about changing it. But actually, when we told people about the name Long Lane and they didn't know where it came from, the property, they related it to that journey that someone is on and in life, right? Their wellness journey, whatever it may be, and they related it to that. So that kind of made us think, maybe we should keep it. Then listen to this: we found the site that we currently have right now, and in order to enter it, you go down the longest single file lane ever. It's tree lined, everything. So we were like, it's meant to be. This is the site, and we're keeping the name.
Talk about serendipity. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you couldn't write it, honestly. And when you're driving down this lane, you're thinking, wow, this is a long lane. When is the house going to get here? So it makes sense.
Share of mind before they've even got to the venue and the hospitality, before they enter the premises, they are quite literally living the brand name into life.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Marketing comes in weird and wonderful ways. Like we do a lot of tech businesses on the program, on the show, and like it's great that we've got someone building something physical. When we think about experiences, how do you think about them? Like, how do you build something that not everyone is going to love, but these people, these individuals, your members are going to enjoy every single time they turn up, and then every single second that they're there?
I think, the amenities and what's on offer is one thing, but I think why people join a club like this is the people, right? The people that are in it. And we're putting a lot of time and effort into curating that community and ensuring that the right people are in there. And you need a mix of everyone, right? You can't have, say, if you've got 500 members, you can't have 500 members that are all 27 white and male. That's no fun for anyone. You need a mix of everyone. So we're spending a lot of time on curating that community, because at the end of the day, the main value proposition for a members club is the people. That's why it may not be why people join, but it's certainly why people stay. So we're putting a lot of effort into that, and that really amplifies the rest of the experience. If you can meet someone there, you can go to a club who you may not be direct friends with, but you feel that you've got friends there. You can go on your own, you can meet people. That's really what we're working towards, and we feel that will amplify the experience. Really taking our time meticulously, going through, what type of member we want, what type of member we don't want. And for us, it's not, a lot of private members clubs are about status and wealth. For us, there'll be people from all walks of life, and the main thing that unites them is that they prioritize their well-being.
I think more and more we have to do that today. What have you learned in the last 3 years when it comes to well-being? Like, is it something that a person has to subconsciously think about, or they have to consciously think about in every action they take?
I think it can be a very when someone's really taking hold of their well-being in every area of their life. At the start, it can be a very overwhelming process. When we're constantly told this is bad for you, that's bad for you, and you realize like you're just surrounded by all these things that are potentially harmful for you.
It's like going vegan, right? It's like you just take everything off the plate and there's nothing left.
Exactly, right? And you want to take action. You're thinking, wow, there's so much to take action. Then you just don't take any action because you're so overwhelmed. I think the important thing for me was to not get overwhelmed by it, take small steps every day, and then years to come, you've kind of got this optimized environment for yourself.
Talk to me about like the building the concept out. I've seen the mock-ups online, right, on the timeline on LinkedIn. It looks insane. I was showing it to some friends and they were like, sign me up for a membership today. Sent them the link. They were loving it, right? It kind of like you said, it's Soho Farmhouse, but wellness said it at the genesis, not the core, the genesis. It's in every single aspect of it. Given that, like, you must have to go through everything, whether that's the organic farm and the seeds that you're planting, whether it's the paint on the walls, whether it's like down to the duvets, like that is a laborious process. How do you organize something like that? And like, why does it have to go all the way down to the very core of the business?
Well, luckily for me, I have a business partner that is a lot more well-versed in the wellness space than I am. So for context, like, I'm very much at the start of my wellness journey. He's a lot further along. He's a full-blown biohacker. So he's quite a good sense for the materials that we should be using and whatnot. Now, why? I feel, not only from a selfish point of view, you know, that's the environment that I want to be in. I do feel that the consumer nowadays is becoming a lot more conscious about the products that they're using and the, you know, the food that they're eating, whether it be skincare products, food, whatever it may be, right? They're becoming a lot more conscious. You know, health is on the radar through social media. You've got all these health influencers like Andrew Huberman that are telling people, don't do this, don't do that, and people trust them, right? So the average consumer is a lot more aware of these things. So I believe in 5-10 years, you know, restaurants will have to have an organic food offering, right? Wellness brands that have been considered to be wellness focused but have really just been treating it as a bolt-on will get caught out, because for them it stretches as far as a cold plunge in a sauna. But you know, we know now that it's a lot more than that, right? And it's just about us ensuring that we're not wellness washing on the surface, right? It really is in the detail. And we also want to educate people on that journey. You know, we're documenting the journey in a way that we can educate people about this. You know, we're choosing these types of paints because of this. We're doing this type of sauna because of this, and so on.
I love it. I'm following the journey online, and it's so much fun just seeing the new unlocks of the space. Like I know you've broken ground already. You've knocked down a building. You know, you've had to do certain things, and it's like great watching you build this thing in public. And it feels more and more like I just have to buy a membership.
I love it. I love it.
And that's the greatest thing. Talk to me about the fundraise. You've raised 4.5 million. I know you're filling the other. Is it 1.5 or 0.5?
1.5.
Absolutely incredible. What's that raise been like? I mean, I wouldn't say record time, but incredibly quickly from what I've heard. And you've got some incredible incredible funds backing you and people behind it.
So it was, do you know what? Initially, we only to the last couple of weeks, if you started doing outbound, everything had been inbound prior to that, which is
That's
quite
insane.
Which really shows you the value of social media and documenting your journey. Now, we signed the lease and we didn't have any capital at this point. It's like a chicken and egg situation, right?
When was the lease signed?
In December.
Wow.
Yeah. And we needed to pay the deposit. So we had to go out to friends, family. We went out to Instagram and we basically pooled lots of small checks together, paid the deposit and got stuff moving. We knew at that point, you know, any VC firm, funds, they have a long due diligence period. So even though they might be in, it wouldn't work for us at that point because we needed cash right there to start this project. There was other people looking at the property. You know, we wanted to get open. The opportunity is now. We wanted to get open as soon as possible. We couldn't wait 3 months for a fund to do their DD period and then give us the capital. We needed to strike now. So we went out with what we had, family and friends, Instagram, and we raised about 2.5 million that way.
Incredible.
And then over the last couple of months, we closed another 2 million from one family office and one PE fund. Which is great. It's great to have the validation from institutional investors that see this stuff a lot and their confidence in backing us. It is a stressful process, though. It takes up what frustrates me. It's not the actual work, right? Like it's not the work. It's the part that's needed to get to the work, and it's a long process. You've got to remain resilient. You get tons and tons of no's, and that's okay because the more no's we got, the better our pitch got next time, right? We refined it. Why did that person say no? We weren't offended. We actually welcomed them because it was an opportunity for us to improve the pitch for the next person. Every no, you're a step closer to a yes was the way that we're looking at it, and it's the way that we're still looking at it. What I will say is now we're doing outbound. It's beyond frustrating seeing basically 99% of institutional investors investing in tech. And I understand why that is. You know, for the past 30 years, this is where all the success stories are. But the way I see it, it's a pendulum, right? The more that we get as humans, we're immersed in AI, VR, all that fun stuff, the pendulum swings back the other way. The more the human experience within nature, within real things is needed, and those things will come at a premium. It's crazy to see the lack of institutional investors investing in the human experience.
It's crazy, right? Like I think you're right. We're going to hit a pivotal point in this next couple of years where we go, right, tech's great, but it's now doing the things we want it to, and now we want to go outside and play, and we want to go and experience things again. And you see that in London with, like, maybe it is tech orientated with the cube, the outer box, right? It's this immersive experience. That's great. Just a bunch of screens. What if you want to just completely go offline? You want to completely, find yourself in a countryside. You want to enjoy yourself in the woods and like put some, like, feet on the ground on grass and spend time with yourself and think more than anything. Like, yeah, it feels like humanity is going to go back in that direction. Like, the bet you're making is there, right? It's the pendulum swinging. We're going back to offline experiences, not online experiences. And we want to play a part in that world.
For sure. That's 100%. I mean, it's a sticky experience as well, right? Because, if you've ever taken time away from your phone, or you've been in nature and you've been quite disconnected, it's not guilty. You come back from that thinking, wow, I can't wait to go out there again. It's a very sticky experience. It's not regret. If you can create a space that allows people to do that and is amazing, you've got a very sticky business. People will come back and come back and come back. You don't hear of experiences like that people don't like.
What's it like building in the countryside? It must be difficult, no?
With planning and regulations, it is tough. I mean, there's so many different districts that all overlap, and it's not one person that makes a decision. Like, for example, we're dealing with the South Downs National Park as well as Chichester Council. So there's layers of bureaucracy. They don't really speak to each other. It takes ages. It's tough. And then you've also got the local stakeholders, our neighbors, that aren't used to having concepts like this come out there. They probably moved away from London to get away from people that will be coming to our concept. So there's a lot of stakeholder management there. We actually went to the parish council meeting a couple of weeks ago, which went better than we expected. But these people have been seeing what we're doing on social media, and when they don't feel involved in the conversation, it's triggering for them. And when we went there, the consensus in the room when we initially started speaking was not good. But after we kind of engaged them, we told them about what we're doing and alleviated their concerns, the consensus in the room changed, which is great. So I think it just shows the importance of stakeholder management and ensuring you've got an open dialogue with the people that are impacted by this project, not your customers, but the people that are impacted by it, whether they like it or not.
I love it. Do you think they'll end up being customers in some capacity? The
Sure,
neighbors come over,
I think
bite to
they
eat.
will.
We want a lovely organic steak, or we want some lovely organic food. It's like, come on down. Yeah, of course. Dinner's on us.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Is it difficult coming up with a concept, right? When you go back way before December and you're thinking about, planning this all out, we talk about the map and the woods and the saunas and the farm, like stringing that all together inside an experience that makes you feel great. Was that difficult, or did that come easily?
So coming up with the ideas was easy because me and my business partner are building this space selfishly. As I said, this is a space that we would live in, like, happily.
Yep.
Like, I wish there were spaces like this. So coming up with the ideas was the easy part. The hard part is overlaying that with operational feasibility. So we want to do all these things, but how does it look operationally, commercially, but also just from a staffing perspective? For example, our interior design has done some amazing designs. They look absolutely beautiful. And if it was up to me, I would have just ticked it off right there. Fortunately, we have experienced operators on our team that then they overlay this with, okay, but how does this actually work in action? Where are the storage containers for staff? Where are little things like that, right? That designers often forget and don't incorporate. And there was another example of that. So we built this amazing wellness suite with contrast therapies, sauna, ice baths, a yoga studio, a gym, and then changing rooms. Mm-hmm. And when the designers initially put the designs together, we had overlooked that in order to get to the sauna and ice from the changing rooms, you had to go through the gym, and people would be walking through the gym with wet in underwear, bikinis, whatever it may be, right? And if you haven't built a space like this before, these are the sort of subtleties that you may miss. Fortunately, again, we've got a gym designer that's built a lot of these spaces and seen a lot of them in action that can kind of be a guide for us with our crazy and wacky ideas. He can say, actually, this is a great idea, but it's not going to work like this. It sounds amazing, but when we actually become operational, it's going to cause issues.
And that's what's difficult. It's like coming up with the concept's easy, but actually implementing it and making it a cohesive experience is the difficult bit.
100%.
Like, how do you find these operators? Are they ex-designers, like ex-founders who have built hospitality businesses, so understand what they're doing, that believed in the vision, and then you were able to bring them on board? Or are they some of the investors?
No, they're not the investors. So when we were going out for investment, we were aware that between me and my business partner, we lacked experience in this space. My business partner has hospitality experience in restaurants, but this is a whole nother beast. So
It's
we
dialing it up a level, right?
Yeah, exactly. But we knew in order to raise capital, we needed to get a very good delivery team that have, satisfy our weak spots. So we went out, looked for people that are best in class at what they do, from everything from memberships and community to gyms to spas to just general hotel operations. And we put them together, sold them on the vision. And then from there, we're able to say that we've got an amazing delivery team that essentially they know way more than us about what we're doing. We're kind of a guiding voice, ensuring that they execute on vision, reminding them what's important for us. But in terms of the granular workings of the site, we don't really have much input because we've got people working for us that have done this 10, 20, 30 times, so it's great to be able to rely on a team like that.
I love it. Talk to me about the long-term vision then. Obviously, we're not just curing wellness here, right? Like, it's something bigger than that. It's not just in the UK. Like, long-term, is this a global product that you're going to roll out in multiple countries over the course of a decade or even shorter? Or is it something that's very much Europe focused?
So our goal is to reimagine the country club and be the new modern day country club. When we look at a country club in general, the foundations are great, right? Community, getting out into nature, connecting with your friends. But over the past 50 years, they've kind of died. I mean, how many people do you know that are members at a country club unless it's solely
Absolutely
golf,
none.
right? None.
Yeah, exactly. It is country club is golf now, right? That's it.
That's it,
Oh,
right?
maybe throwing a horse here and there
Yeah.
in some capacity. It's just on site for some reason.
Exactly. Now, we see that as they haven't really evolved with what the modern day consumer wants. Instead of whiskey and cigars, people want yoga and smoothies, right? And they haven't really evolved in that. So we see us as that new player in the country club world. We want to scale that out. We probably won't do another one in the UK, probably across America, Middle East, Europe, 30 minutes to an hour outside of major cities, really acting as an escape. There's well-being concepts within cities, and we could have gone and done that. But for us, one of the core aspects of these concepts is being rooted in nature, and it's quite hard to do that in an urban city. But yes, to answer your question, we see this as a global play. We'd love to become the wellness version of Soho House. And again, everyone says, yeah, but Soho House has wellness. It does, but like I said, it's a bolt-on. It's not the genesis of their idea. It's very tough to claim you're a wellness concept when your food's not organic and you've got people slamming espresso martinis at 9 a.m. by the pool.
I know it's a fact. It's a fact. Like, don't get me wrong, they're great. They are, but you can't do that forever, can we?
No, exactly.
I'm thinking about it long term, right? Think about a ranch in the US, like somewhere in Texas, just outside of Austin. You got horse riding. Oh, that would be incredible.
That would be
just
amazing.
Like planes, or stick it in Montana, right next one. Big Sky is a hell of a mountain, and maybe Montana won't like it. But like that ranch, that Yellowstone style ranch would be insane.
I'd love to do it. Every concept that we do, no matter where it is, will be natural to its natural landscape. So this concept is very much leaning into British countryside culture. But if we were to do one in Texas, it would be a ranch. If we were to do one in the Middle East, it would be a desert,
Oh, an
desert
oasis.
concept.
Absolutely incredible. Harrison, this has been an absolute pleasure. I'm looking forward to like following the journey and having you back on. I want updates constantly. Every time we hit a milestone, I'm checking in. It's going to be great to see you guys build this thing out, and hopefully we'll live stream it from there at some point. Absolutely.
I love that. Amazing. Thanks for your time, man.